Welcome back, everyone, to Lesson 5 of The Way of the Heart. As always, when we start, just checking in with ourselves. Have we established presence? Deep rhythmic breathing is very helpful. But even more helpful, attention on the breath, turning your attention to the breath. The importance of the breath started being emphasized recently in the lessons. The idea that we're actually being breathed. From a little bit earlier in Lesson 4, let the roots be watered by desiring all else, above all things, to become the fulfillment of what God had in mind when he breathed into you the breath of life. Let that breath be received in each moment. That's a whole different idea about breath. God is breathing into us the breath of life in each moment. So bringing attention to that idea by bringing our attention to the actual physical thing that's occurring, entering and exiting the body. The way of mastery, the phrase the body, it may sound a little weird, but instead of saying our body, say the body, because we're trying to stop identifying so much with the body as being what we are, more as a vehicle we're using. So the body, if that's not too weird for you, then we recommend that. Notice the breath coming into the body and exiting. I like the intention, just saying, Holy Spirit, use the breath for your purposes. Let me breathe as you would have me breathe. Let me fully receive. See how that feels. See if the breath changes when you set that intention. Beginning with the text, there's a paragraph near where we stopped last time called First, Desire is Everything, and without it not a thing can arise. Just taking a moment or two to find that. I do recommend following along in the text and having the text for study for sure. From the text, Lesson 5, Way of the Heart. First, desire is everything, and without it not a thing can arise. Therefore, indeed, what you desire is of utmost importance. Desire, then, perfect union with God. Desire, then, to be Christ incarnate. Desire, then, to be all that your Creator has created you to be, even if you haven't a slightest idea of what that might be. For when you hold desire within your beingness, and when you've moved through the process of coming in to master the energy of desire, and again, mastery does not mean control. When you have mastered the energy of desire by grounding it always in the desire to be as you are created to be, then indeed all of your life and all of the subsequent or subsidiary desires will come to serve that grand desire. End of paragraph. We're talking about mastering, not controlling the energy of desire, the energies of desire, really. So he says this is a big clue here. So when you have mastered the energy of desire by doing something, it's worth to know, okay, well, what do we do to master the energy of desire? It says by grounding it always in the desire to be as you are created to be. So when we can get in touch with the desire to be as we are created to be, whatever that might mean, then everything falls into place. So desiring to be as we are created to be is a little bit like our relationship with God itself. No, we're desiring to be, reality is God, and we're desiring to be what we're created to be in reality. Continuing on. When you come into that state of being, nothing shall be impossible unto you. And why? Because you're not the one doing it. You are merely a piece of thread in a very cosmic tapestry being woven by the Creator of all creation, who alone knows how to weave the tapestry of a new age, of a new paradigm, of a healing of this plane and of humanity. And so the first stage is indeed the stage of desire. And only by feeling desire and not suppressing it can you truly begin to move toward the stage of mastery in which the energy of desire always serves that higher will, which is the will of God for you. And as we have said to you before, when your will is in alignment with the will of God, you will discover that God's will for you is that you be genuinely happy through and through, content, fulfilled, at peace, empowered, capable, responsible. End of paragraph. He's talking about such an important relationship here, our relationship with the energy of desire. And he goes back to he said this several times before, only by feeling desire and not suppressing it can you truly begin to move towards the stage of mastery. So grounding always in the desire to be as you are created to be, and part of what you're created to be is one of the things occurring in you, embracing all that you are. One of the things occurring in you is these felt desires. So instead of trying to change that, turn towards embracing it. Continuing on, desire in time is cultivated through intention. So we've got the second energy here, first desire and now intention. For you see, you have used time to teach yourself how to be distracted by all of the thoughts and perceptions that make up this cosmic soup called your world. And all of you have known the frustration of having a desire, and then as soon as you walk out of the door, a friend pulls up and says, let's go to the beach. And you never make it to class, even though your desire is to get the degree. You have cultivated the art of being seduced by distraction. Therefore, it is necessary to utilize time to cultivate intention. For without intention, desire cannot become the crystal clear focus, the laser-like focus, that can cut through the dross of this world, that a new creation can flow forth through you. Intention is not the same as holding a strong, egoic-willed commitment to making something happen. For the way of the heart recognizes that you have not known how to achieve the fulfillment you seek at the level of the soul, for the simple reason that if you did, you would have already accomplished it. In the way of the heart, intention doesn't mean putting your nose to the grindstone and not taking no for an answer. It means rather that you cultivate within your thought process the art of remembering what you are truly here for. You are here to remember that you are the thought of love in form. You are here to remember that you are one with God. You are here to remember that what I have called Abba, the Father, through it, though it goes by many names, is the source of your only reality. And you are living in reality only to the degree that that one is living through you. End of paragraph. So this is really interesting because the world has got all this thing about, we're going to make a to-do list and we're going to egoically commit to it and so on. I mean, it's a subtle distinction here because we are talking about intention. And it's not the same as holding a strong-willed commitment to making something happen, strong egoic-willed commitment to make something happen. And it says really simply, like, well, you've tried that, right? And it's, you think it works, but it hasn't really gone that well because you haven't really found the fulfillment that you're seeking. So intention in the way of the heart means you cultivate within your thought process. You cultivate within your thought process. So you focus on thinking about certain things. The art of remembering what you're truly here for. So we're going to focus on remembering. We have the intention to remember what we're truly here for. And we're here to remember that we're the thought of love in form. So our intention in the way of the heart is to remember that we are the thought of love in form. We're here to remember that we are one with God. So again, intention in the way of the heart is to remember that we are one with God. And then to remember that God is the source of our only reality. And this is a really interesting one. The intention to remember that you are living in reality only to the degree that God is living through you. Again, another really just so much density in this paragraph. This could be read over and over and over again. Is it really seeping in what he's saying here? So, like, it's not the to-do list. It's not being the maker and doer in the world. That doesn't achieve the fulfillment we're seeking. What does is cultivating within our thinking the remembrance that we're the thought of love and form, that we're one with God, that God's our only reality, and that we're only living reality to the extent that God is living through us, like we're all channels. Our energy's coming through all of us, and that's God, and we're the channel, kind of. Continuing on. Therefore, intention in the way of the heart means to utilize time each day to focus your attention on the desire to be Christ incarnate. Intention is that energy or that use of the mind that creates through consistent practice the channel, here he is talking about channels, the channel, if you will, through which desire begins to move down and re-educate the emotional body. And even the cellular structure of the physical body and all of the lesser avenues of thinking that occur within the intellect. So that everything involved in your being is integrated, working together, and focused on the fulfillment of that one grand desire to accept your function in this world. And your function is healing your sense of separation from God. End of paragraph. Another chock-filled paragraph. Utilize time to focus your intention on the desire to be Christ incarnate. So being Christ incarnate is similar to what he's just mentioned. Remembering we are the thought of love and form. We are one with God. Excuse me. Oh, I had a little tickle in my throat. A little coffee there. Remembering that we're one with God. Remembering that we're the thought of love and God, of love and form. That God's our only reality, and that we are living in reality only to the degree that that one is living through us. That's to be Christ incarnate. I had a number of sessions with the channel Way of Mastery back in the day, and one of the questions I asked Joshua at that time was, so the Christ being that we are is a little bit like, it's a feminine being, it's a receiving being. And he said, yes. That we're receiving from the Father and life is flowing through us in that way. We receive and then we manifest in what might be a male body or a physical body, but the life energy that activates and directs either of those is, to start with, it's a feminine receiving act. We're receiving from God. So it's a little bit like the earth receiving the warmth of the sun. We're the earth, God is the sun, and the growth and the vegetation and the flowers and the beauty and everything that grows out of earth is a result of that process. Back to the text. How then, and there's a lot more in these paragraphs, it's talking about desire, re-educating the emotional and cellular body. That's pretty wild, right? I mean, so when we get our relationship with the desire straight, our emotional and cellular structures will be re-educated. Wow. So that everything is integrated, working together, and focused on the fulfillment of the one grand desire to accept your function in the world, and your function is healing your sense of separation from God. So to shorten the whole thing up, when you get in touch with desire through intention, you straighten out your relationship with God, and that heals your separation from God. So the path to ending the separation is through embrace of desire, and that's supported by intention. Back to the text. How then to apply intention? Each day then, just as you have used time to teach yourself to be easily distracted, you need only apply one question to which you ask yourself daily. What is it that I most desire? What am I doing on this planet? What am I committed to? And a paragraph. And you notice he says one question, then he answers three. It's like one of those jokes. But he then cleans that up in the next paragraph. Those latter questions, the what am I doing on the planet? What am I committed to? Is just another form of the fundamental question, what is it that I most desire? And as you keep practicing asking that question, the answer will become clearer and clearer. For you see, it is the question that influences, stimulates, gives birth to the answer. For the universe is always answering your questions. When you ask unclear questions, you get unclear answers. Therefore, become crystal clear with your intention and remind yourself of it daily. My intention is to use time constructively for the relearning of what it means to abide in the kingdom of heaven and to fulfill my function. And my function is healing. And healing requires the presence of Christ, for only Christ can express the love that brings healing into being. Desire and intention. And in the field of time, these stages unfold as one matures in the way of the heart. Desire and intention are critical. We'll stop in the text for now. The next paragraph starts with the third stage, so there's going to be something after desire and intention, apparently. He says that healing is our function, and healing requires the presence of Christ. For only Christ can express the love that brings healing into being. I'd like to reframe a little bit because of all the religious connotations around the word Christ. What I think he's saying here, he's saying Christ is the remembrance of what we truly are. What we truly are is, and he alludes to this earlier, what we are is one with God. What we are is the thought of love and form. What we are is something which is sourced entirely by God, and what we are is something which can live fully by allowing God to flow through us. That's the Christ that's being described, the remembrance of the reality, truth of our aligned being. It's not a religious statement excluding those who aren't Christians. It's a statement of the loving essence of the truth of what we are. Just because the word has been used so many times in so many different places, more than one could ever imagine. Okay, so we're stages of Way of Mastery are being laid out here. Desire, lots of talk about desire, and now lots of focus on intention. So he's building something here, and the two first building blocks are in place. Next time we'll get on to the third stage of the process, by which the mind is wholly corrected. And we'll talk about that next time. Thanks for listening. This is David Chuck. For more of the videos and more related material, check out JeshuaSpeaks.com. Have a great day. Bye for now.